Amazing. They're quite amazing creatures. Crab, these are humongous. Big ones too, right here. This one is a red lobster, kind of just right here living. Rice inside of it.
Hey, welcome back to our channel. Today we are coming back from South Beach, and to our surprise, our drivers was willing to drive us around for an additional tour for free. They are paid by commission to drop off tourists at these sites, and they earn commission from the sales that's generated from it. So they're more than willing to drive you there and give you a tour, and it was actually pretty good. So check out our video, and then we're gonna finish out with some lunch afterwards.
Okay, so our taxi driver recommended that we stop by one of the local manufacturer of fish sauce here in Quoc Island. It's a place where they manufacture and can kind of sell for the rest of Vietnam and also export to the world. Fish sauce is one of the traditional export product of Vietnam. It's kind of like soy sauce, but it just has a more oceanic, saltier taste. And it resembles a little bit of anchovies. That's what we would call an anchovy sauce. It's kind of like eating the anchovy, but just in a more fermented, liquid form. And it's a very good dipping sauce. Our guide has told us that there's two different kinds. The kind that's saltier and raw, and that's the one that you use for cooking purposes, and the one that's more refined, the refined product you would use for dipping and just adding as a complement to your dish. Right, so it looks like this is where the magic happens, in this giant tub where they will collect the anchovies and cure them in a fermenting process, letting them age to a certain amount before refining them for whatever purpose you may need. It kind of resembles, making beer or cheese or any other fermenting processes. Fish sauce is just some liquefied anchovies, in my opinion. Yep, so this manufacturer definitely likes tourists to visit. Sell their product, make their name known in Vietnam, maybe even in the global market. So they definitely want to set up a storefront here, selling all sorts of goods and help promote tourism. Okay, let's go. Looks like my wife was buying some local coconut products here that they have offered for sale. Out of the car and heading to our next destination, oyster pearl harvesting. Drivers informing us they grow their own oysters in the back here, and then they bring them in when they're ready to harvest and collect pearls out of them. Here we go, stepping into their storefront, checking out what
The nice lady is explaining the boat behind us is the original boat of the family. They started out as some pretty poor fishermen, but they started farming and things kind of really took off from there. Now they are one of the biggest pearl producers here in Quoc Island and in the region.
Những cái viên ngọc trai cổ như vậy á chị, bây giờ chỉ cần ăn lỗ là có thể làm trang sức, không cần quay gia công hay xử lý gì cả. Hiện tại Phú Quốc tụi mày ngọc trai rất là phổ biến và mình sẽ khó nhận biết đâu là ngọc trai thật và đâu là ngọc trai giả. Nên cũng xin chia sẻ với anh chị cái này đó. Dạ, chúng ta sẽ dùng hai viên ngọc trai ma sát lại với nhau. Từ những khối san hô này sẽ làm ra sản phẩm phía bên trên như vòng tay, kiểu cổ hay là mặt dây chuyền đó chị.
Come on. So it's farm to museum to pearl store. That's exactly what our journey has taken us at this front here. The family started with humble roots for fishing for oysters. They still retain their traditional family boat that they operated from before they became a company. So this is their story. They farm oysters now, collect pearls, manufacture them, and then also sell them at this very nice air conditioning storefront. Not only they sell pearl product, they sell handbags too. So on their way, this family company is on their way to becoming a full-blown jeweler and mall, perhaps. But they definitely have a nice front and nice story to tell. Seafood. All right. See what their selection is. Different grades of crab. Different sea snails. Clams. Alaskan king crab. These are humongous. And then also they have your Atlantic lobster here, probably flown over from the US or Canada. These are from either Alaska or the Bering Sea somewhere. And this one you have your mantis prawns and local lobster. They call it the flower lobster, maybe because they're spotted like flour, but the local name is flower lobster, which means local. Here it is. There's some big ones too right here. The bigger size flower lobster. Pricing is about $50 a pound, so quite expensive to eat a lobster here in Vietnam, but it's a delicacy. This one is a red lobster, which is very familiar to the flower lobster, but apparently from some people say they're not as tasty, but very similar. Red crab. This one's a little bit different from your flower spotted ones that we typically see at the market here. This one is has a red glow. I never tried this one before. Maybe this should be next on the menu item whenever I need to eat some crab. Maybe we'll come back and eat later and try this one. Some jumbo-sized spotted crab. And some snails, clams, scallops. And then here's your tank of prawns. Tiger prawns, I believe. Mantis prawns. I believe the term for this one is a gooey duck. I could be wrong. I don't know the name. Can't help but admire the gigantic king crab that kind of just right here living. You know, when we eat it in the US, usually we see it just the legs already cooked, come frozen somewhere. But to see one just right here in front of us is quite amazing. They're quite amazing creatures. Alright, and then there's the restaurant out back here. So whatever you want to eat, tell them to scoop it up by the pound or by the quantity, and they'll go out back, cook it, and have a nice meal. Alright, so after our early morning adventures, it's lunchtime here in Quoc Island. So we decided to take a lunch break and visit one of the famous rice restaurants here. It's just a family style restaurant with traditional rice dishes. It's called Cơm Niêu Việt Xưa, like the traditional clay pot rice. So it's a very nice storefront. They really spent some money developing it, kind of renovating the inside to make it look like of a traditional food hall with some traditional architecture. Very big space, very busy. It's probably the busiest restaurant so far along this street that we're at. Yeah, as you can see, they have a lot of guests that stops by and have lunch here. A lot of cars parked out front too. Alright, let's take a look at the menu here. They have a pretty big menu. It's your everyday salad, appetizers, tofu, vegetable section, and then here is the beef and chicken section. And then finally we hit seafood, shrimp on this side, and perhaps some squid on this side. There's a lot of squid here, dishes, some frog dishes, and then go full circle back to pork and fish. Different kind of fishes that you see in the markets here. So all these dishes are basically meant to be paired with rice. So the clay pot rice that they're gonna use, and then they're gonna eat it with some of these dishes. More of a family style meal. A lot of typical here in Vietnam. Alright, here we go. Here's some of our dishes that we ordered start coming out. These are traditional clay pot with the rice inside of it. And here's a stir-fried crispy tofu dish. And braised fish fillet. Braised fish fillet with anchovy sauce. Typically a sweet and sour kind of tasting, but this one more of a sweet and savory taste. Okay, and this is a vegetable soup made from crab. What they do is they blend the crab to get a nice liquid, and when they cook it with the soup, it becomes like kind of like a cake that floats on top. Very common in Vietnam to eat these kind of soups. Give it a try, see how it tastes. Good? Alright. Eggplant, that's a cabbage with a fermented shrimp paste. Usually people eat this as kind of like a relish along with their main dishes. Yeah, this is a special one right there, the fermented shrimp paste, not for the inexperienced. It's quite powerful, so I would recommend only if you're very adventurous, give it a try. Alright, and here's another dish that came out. Something more familiar for my daughter, some stir-fried steak and french fries, her favorite. The only kind of food she wants to eat. How is it? Good. Does it taste like McDonald's? It does? No? Doesn't taste like McDonald's? Alright. Let me taste it. It tastes like fried potatoes. Alright. Delicious. Okay, let's go ahead and delve into this meal.
Alright, that wraps up this video. Join us next time when we explore more of Quoc Island. If you like these kind of easygoing content, please sure to give us a like and subscribe and encourage me to make more contents like this. Thank you and see you in the next video.